Dating back to ancient times, the open-air museum of Craggaunowen in Quinn, County Clare, is a truly unique site. Step back in time with us and let us tell you all about the lives of your ancestors thousands of years ago. A prehistoric settlement, the story of Craggaunowen begins in ancient times. Craggaunowen was based around the Craggaunowen, an artificial island built in the lake with wattle and daub. This was designed as a defensive structure to protect us from hostile neighbouring tribes. At the time, Ireland was a wild place. We were hunter-gatherers, early farmers, feeding ourselves on nuts, berries and animals such as deer and wild boar, and cooking over the open fire or using the Fulach Fia. As Celts, we were a pagan society, worshipping Celtic gods and practicing ancient rituals. We were in touch with the natural world around us, meditating on our beliefs and the rhythms of life and death. However, over time, as Ireland moved into the Bronze Age and then on to the Iron Age, society began to change. Our farming improved, our tools got more sophisticated, and we began to use metal and machinery such as the loom and the pole lathe. Weapons also improved, with swords and axes replacing spears. Defence was an important part of life at Craggaunowen, as the threat of invasion always loomed large. Neighbouring tribes would try to invade our ring fort, leading to violent clashes, or we would escape down the secret tunnel, the souterrain. As well as this, in the 5th century, a wind of change was moving across the country as the Celtic people discovered Christianity. The pagan druids, who once acted as leaders in our community, most likely became monks to preserve our own stories as we embraced the new Christian doctrine. One of the most famous stories of the period is the story of Saint Brendan the Navigator, a monk who was sent a vision by God. According to the legend, Saint Brendan sailed all the way across the Atlantic to the Promised Land of North America. The journey was said to have taken 7 years, a popular story during medieval times. The Navigatio, as it was known, was transcribed in countless manuscripts and translated into many languages. Hundreds of years later, in 1976, intrepid explorer Tim Severin decided to put the story to the test. He built a boat of oak-tanned ox hides which were stretched over a wooden flexible frame and stitched together the 2 miles of hand-twisted thread exactly as described in the Navigatio. He named the boat Brendan and set off across the Atlantic. According to the story, along the way, St. Brendan encountered many fantastical things. Islands full of birds of paradise, sea monsters, crystal pillars and mysterious fogs. On his journey, Tim Severin stopped off at the Hebrides, the Faroes and Iceland. Could this be the same landscape? In June 1977, after an arduous journey, Severin finally reached the coast of Newfoundland, satisfied he had done justice to St. Brendan's legendary voyage. The boat is now housed in a glass pyramid at Craggaunowen, where visitors can see it in all its glory. Moving back to medieval times, other changes were taking place in County Clare. Craggaunowen Castle stands defiantly on a crag rock overlooking the lake. From the castle you can see the 50 acres of wild, untouched woodland on the Craggaunowen site, as well as the lakes, the hills, the flora and the fauna stretching out as far as the eye can see. In 1550, John MacShiada McNamara, Lord of East Clancullen, built the castle, and it was inhabited by the chieftains for over 3 centuries. Thousands of these buildings were built from the 15th to the 17th century by Gaelic lords and landed gentry, and many still dot the countryside of Ireland today. With the arrival of Oliver Cromwell in 1653, the castle fell into ruin, with the roof, the staircase and the turrets destroyed in the warfare of the times. It wasn't until 1820 it was inherited and partly restored by a local man, Tom Steele. Steele was a passionate supporter of Daniel O'Connell in his fight for Catholic emancipation and a frequent visitor to Craggaunowen. Owned for a time by the Land Commission, in 1960 the castle was purchased by John Hunt, the famous historian, archaeologist, art collector and expert on medieval art. At the time, the castle was essentially a ruin, and the surrounding 50 acres were wild and overgrown. John Hunt took on the task of restoring the entire site, creating an open-air museum where people could come and see how we lived from the Bronze Age right up to medieval times. Located in the heart of Clare, Craggaunowen offers visitors a chance to escape into the rich landscape of the west of Ireland, featuring Burren limestone as well as a lush woodland full of ferns, grasses and trees. Wandering off the beaten track, you might even come across soy sheep, wild boar, herons and swans. The woodland walk is tranquil and poignant, with the weight of the history that lays across the land. Today, the guides at Craggaunowen will take you through the site, sharing their knowledge and animating the past with various crafts and activities from a bygone age. Open to the public in 1975, Craggaunowen has become a place where you can take a journey through time and where the past truly comes alive.